Okay, so good morning to all of you. Uh, in our last class, in our topic of our lab, I remember that I have told you people that we are going to discuss, or I have given you people some experiments, some things for your lab experiment, and I've told you people to think on that so that you can make it. I hope all of you remember that I have given you people to make a chessboard through a shell programming, right? So I don't know that whether how many of you have done it or how many have tried it. What is the scenario, right? So first, let me ask that how many of you have tried it or how many of you have done it. So if anyone have done it, raise your hand, and if not, there is no issue. So I cannot see any type of hand have been raised. So I am taking into consideration that none of you have done it. Okay, one hand raised by Aditya Kumar Pandey. So Aditya, let me ask you first that whether the program was successful, whether you are able to make a design of that chessboard.
Yes, sir.
So you have done it and you have made a chessboard through a shell programming, right? Same for Apeksha.
Yes, sir.
Same for Apeksha. Apeksha, whether you have an output or just you have tried. What is the scenario?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you have an output. You have got an output, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
I have submitted, sir.
Okay. No issue. So what we will do that from your next week you have an internal, right? Uh, so in next class, in tomorrow's class, what we will do, we will have a program on this. We will visualize it and see that how it will done, how the scenario goes on, and we will draw a chessboard with a simple type of program we will see. So we are not going to do a discuss on that for today. Okay, so I am giving all of you one more day time, means how whatever the participants are present here, all of you need to try, at least need to attempt or try to make it at least. Okay, so that okay, all of you may not be able to draw the design, fine, no issue on that, but I want you people to at least try it, at least give it a try. So fine, if not, there is no issue, but if you are not attempting, if you are not trying actually, then it is of no use, means you are now you are not trying to do it. So maybe at a later stage when you are going for to see for a placement or campus in any type of scenario, then there will be a issue. Wait a minute. Okay, so all of my means my target or my what I am trying to say that whatever you are doing, just try it, practice it, because in your next after 6th semester when the campusing will start, then if you are not trying it from now on, then it will be too late. Actually, I can see it will be too late. So for cracking a job, to crack any type of interview, right? So you have enough time of almost 6 to 7 months to get on it, to try it from now on, so that at the end of your 8th semester all of you have a job with you, right? So we have a think on that how the things can be enhanced. We have a think on that also, and hope we will soon implement that part, so it will help you people also. So later on we will get the information that what is our planning from our end, how we can help you people, right? So now talking coming back to the discussions of the classes. So today what we are going to discuss actually the later stages of the shell programming. So we have talked on this looping part, we have talked on that each and every scenario, right? So now the scenario is today we are going to talk on a topic of case statement, right? So we have this vision of this case statement in our C, Java, this type of programming languages already. So the same scenario, the same part of this case statement we are going to talk here in our Linux shell programming. So what is the scenario that this case statement? When we actually use this case statement, when we have a multiple type of option, we have a multiple type of scenario is available that we need to prepare, that we need to state actually. So this case statement, it is a good alternative, we can say, for a multi-level if then else. Means we have a concept of if else, right? So we are trying to use that if else statement all of this scenario. But when there is a large number of options are available, means the choosing for option scenario is too much, then at this end we have a better option to use the case statement. So this case statement, it helps us to match several values against any one of the variable, and much easy to write actually. So first let us see that what is the pattern. First let us go through a pattern, right? So what is the pattern for this case statement, right? The scene is case dollar variable name, case dollar variable name, then such as in. So case dollar variable name, then the part is in, means variable name, suppose a b c d whatever. In means it is having now the options, that whatever the options are present. So suppose there are three options. So first one we can say that pattern one. So first the scenario is for pattern one. So when we have write this pattern one, now whatever the options, whatever the commands we are trying to use under this pattern one, we are going to write under this pattern one. Pattern one will be done with the help of this commands for that particular pattern one, right? Now next for pattern two, similarly some commands it will be goes on. Okay, lastly for pattern three, again some commands it will goes on. So a simple case statement, this is a syntax I am talking about, a very syntax. And lastly there is a default syntax. Lastly there will be a default syntax that will be notified by the star. There will be a default syntax that will be notified by the star pattern, and then it has some default commands actually. So if we actually remember our C, Java, this type of case scenario, that case pattern one, this command pattern two, pattern three, and if any of this not, then default, by default there will be a command, default case will be there. So this star will be actually mentioning that default particular command. Now when we are actually using, or you are starting this case statement, we are using this particular case option, then we need to actually complete that particular. So here just the reverse. Similarly for 5 we are using, for if we are using that 5 statement, 5 for a closing scenario. Here also for case we are going to use that CSAC, just the reverse of the case, that is CAC. The reverse of case is CSAC, that is exact. So the similar, to close the particular case statement, we need to use this particular exact command that will be helping us that yes, this is ending, or this is the end of the particular case statement. So this variable name, it will be compared against each pattern until any type of match is found. So here suppose the user is actually trying to put a pattern, put a value, and if any of that the value is matching with any of the pattern, pattern one, pattern two, pattern n, up to dot dot dot, how much pattern will be there. So it will be going for that particular option, and if not, then it will be by default going to the star pattern, where it will be showing some wrong input, please enter correct command. This type of scenario will be there. It will be a by default command. So if any of the pattern or compared against the pattern a match is found, the shell will execute the statement, the commands within that particular pattern. So if the option is one, then only the one, the commands related to the pattern one will be executed. If it is two, the commands related to the pattern two will be executed. So depending upon the user input, the command will be executed. And if any of these not match with the particular statement, particular pattern, then it will by default the star button, the star pattern will be executed saying some no match is found. This is the scenario. Right. So this is a simple statement. This is a simple case statement. It will be a simple scenario. Now, if I write a simple program, if I write a simple program for this case statement, how the scenario it will look like. So let me write a simple case statement program. Suppose a simple program as an example we are trying to see. So what is the example? First, let us create a file. Suppose to create a file, I am using dollar. Using this particular cat command, I am using this particular cat command, a car. Right. So when this command will be executed, a new file will be created in the name of card. Now I am writing some command, a shell programming command in this particular file. Right. So first, the scenario is we are trying to compare a vehicle information system or a particular vehicle related scenario. We are trying to as a rental. So for rental particular, a vehicle rental scenario for a different type of vehicle, for a car, for a van, for a jeep, for a bicycle, what will be the rental charges will be there. Right. So first of all, some scenario will be written. If there is no option, there will be null option, different type of scenario. So first, the thing is, if so, some if will be there to check whether first scenarios will be returned as a particular correct option, right? So if minus z $1, if minus z $1, then it will be going for the next option. Then it will be going for an option. What is the option? That rental equals to unknown vehicle, means some unknown vehicle or the correct option is not present. Then it will rental equals to some unknown vehicle option it will be showing. Okay, some rental variable is used and elif is not, then the first thing or the argument will be there. So there is some elif command then will be there for elif part. Okay, so this is the simple checking part. Okay, now let us move to the directly the scenario, the case syntax scenario that we are talking about, right? So my variable we have used here, that is variable rental. I have used a variable name, that is rental. Case dot dollar rental. I am using that particular variable here. Case dollar rental in. Now as the scenario it is showing, you can see the case dollar variable name is the same scenario, case dollar rental in. Now the different type of scenario will be there for the different options. Now here will be the different options. So suppose for the first option, that is car. For a first option it is car, and then the command, what will be the command, whatever the command is there. Suppose echo, it is saying that how much price for the car. So for dollar rental, because using the variable rental, and in that particular rental the user will be putting an input. So I am using that variable here so that for a car it will display the for car. Dollar rental is used as particular variable. So whatever the variable will be inputted by the user, that will be displayed here. So for dollar rental, suppose rupees 20, rupees 20 per kilometer. So for so rupees 20 per kilometer, right? So now it will be closed. The bracket will be closed here. Next, suppose for another option, suppose $Jeep. Again, some same sort of command will be there. For Jeep, it will be suppose rupees 30 per kilometer. Okay, for the next option, suppose for a van. So if I am choosing a van, suppose it is rupees 10 per kilometer. Suppose for a bicycle, suppose it is rupees 5 per kilometer. So these are the statements. These are just a normal statement that have been used. Now there will be a default statement, as I said, because if all the scenario is not working properly, so there will be a default statement. So and this default statement will be saying that if there is a wrong input, right? So it will be displaying echo wrong input. Okay, so it will be displayed echo wrong input. And lastly, as the case statement is used, so here it will be an ESAC will be there. So this particular scenario, this is just a simple pattern. Whatever we have write, whatever the syntaxes we have written here, the same statement I have written here using this case dot rental. So this dot rental is my particular variable. This dot rental is my particular variable, and in each of the cases I have used this dot rental. So why are we using this dot rental? Because when the variable will be inputted, as suppose a user is trying to put a value of car, right? So when that car will be inserted as an input, the command will be transferred to this particular car statement. The command will be transferred to the car statement and echo for car, the dollar rental. What is the value in this particular dollar rental? That is car. So car for car is 20 kilometer. So the dollar rental will be displayed that whatever the user have inputted. So this is a simple particular variable, simple particular case command case statement that we have written here. So this command or this checking will be done first where whatever the if else statement, whatever the $1, whatever the things have been written here, that is for the checking purpose. Checking purpose. So first it will check that whether the line or whether the input or whatever the statement is given, it is correct or not, whether it is given or not. If not, then it will be set a value for that particular line argument, and then the run will be staged. Then the particular run will be staged for the case statement will be done, and then it will be noted for different type of inputted. Whatever the inputted have been used here, that will be the inputted will be placed, right? So as a statement, so we need to put the user need to put the statement within this particular four option, that is car, jeep, van, bicycle. If the user put any other option apart from this, then it will be goes for this particular by default section, that is wrong input, right? So this is a particular simple case statement that we have seen here. We will run this particular commands in our labs. Obviously I have shown you people in my last classes also that whatever we have discussed in the theory classes, that particular program is done in our lab classes also, right? Now to debug a particular shell, we whatever we have when we are writing a shell program, right? The debugging is a very important part in each and every programming case. We all know that, because when we are writing a code, maybe in an initial stage when we're learning, we are writing some code of 3 to 4 5 6 9. Now we are in the learning phases, we are in a growing phase of that learning. We write some tough commands, stuff we are writing some tough particular problems such as stack queue. This type of problems come where we need to write a long line of codes, 40-50 lines of codes. So when we are trying to write that particular 45 40 or 50 lines of codes, there is a problem, there is a debugging problem, because suppose we are writing a 50 lines of code and you have put some error in there. Means the error means you have forgot to give a comma, you have forgot to give a semicolon, you have forgot to give a colon there. So anything can be happen, but to find out that particular error from a 40 or 50 lines is a very tough thing. Now coming to the particular work field. So when you are in a work field, you need to write a code, you need to write a particular as a tester or as a programmer, you need to write a code of more than 200, 300 lines and maybe more than that, right? So the scenario is the debugging is important because when you are making an error, to find that error, to solve that particular error problem, the debugging we need to do. So how to debug that particular thing? So when a shell programming, any error happens, to correct that particular error, to debug that particular error, we have different type of options such as -b or -x option with the shell programming to debug that shell script, right? So what is the for -b and what is the -x? So there are two options that is present by which we can use that particular thing, that is a -b, that is helping. What is the purpose of this -b? To print shell input lines as they are read. So whatever the shell input lines we are writing, print shell input lines as they are read. So whatever the lines, how the lines have been read, whatever the input lines, how they have been read, that will be displayed by this -b option. And there is -x option, that will be for simple command. It will display the expanded value for the system variable. So whatever the variable we are using to get the value, maybe it happens that the variable is actually getting some wrong info, displaying some wrong info. So to check that, -x, to check that, displaying the expanded value of the syntax variable, displaying the value of syntax variable, the most option, displaying the value of syntax variable. Now the thing is that these two options is actually providing you some information. But if you are making a mistake of the colons, making a mistake of some capital, small letter, this type of thing, so it is very tough. So in that case, we need to check the line thoroughly. While in C and Java programming and other type of programming languages, we can actually test the short form. We can actually check the block of codes to get a debug result. But here in that case, in a shell programming, we need to check each and every line thoroughly. We need to know the commands thoroughly to get or to run a particular program, right? So this Linux, we have talked from the beginning of the classes that it is a very powerful language or powerful programs or utility program actually. In which scenario it is very powerful, that we can use this Linux actually to locate system information by a simple commands. By using the simple commands, we can have different type of system information, better file management, organizing the data, and system administration, security. This in this particular scenarios, Linux is very powerful tool actually. We can say it is very powerful programs regarding rules and programs actually. So these utilities, there are different type of utilities is present that is helping us in the case of this Linux scenario. That is helping of this Linux scenario. So suppose we have a file, and in that particular file there is a large number of data. In that particular file there is a large number of data. So the file, suppose there are two files, suppose from a S name and S mark, student name and student mark. So first let me draw a particular scenario that will be very helpful to understand. Okay. Okay. Now the thing is, Okay, so there are suppose two tables are present. Now coming to the concept of table, we are moving to a part of database management system. So you will have already studied the part of the database management system. So tell me that what is the unique key, or by which key we can actually merge this particular two tables. We can identify, or we can get the values of two table data by a single key. What is that particular key we can use here?
Roll number.
Roll number.
Roll number. So fine. So that is a database system concept, that where by using a particular key we can fetch a data, or we can say that foreign key concept, that two tables having a match similar type of key by which we can actually fetch a data. That is the concept of foreign key. It's a different. We are moving to the database system part. Fine. Now we have a table that is going for a roll number and having a student name, and same for a roll number for a mark. So to fetch a data from these two tables, that if I try to combine the data, if I try to join this particular two data, that roll number, this roll number section will be helping us to get a value, or to merge this particular two table, including the name and the mark. So if I ask that what is the mark of the name, student name A, then the roll number, the first we will going to find the roll number of this particular student name, that is A, that is 11, and then we are going to fetch the mark of that particular student name, right? So this is a concept of database management system. Now there are several Linux commands that is available to get the values of this, to get a particular values. So suppose from a particular file, sname file means I'm telling that this is the sname file, because where this sname are present. So from this sname file, we want to print name of the students on the screen. So we want to print some name of the student from the screen. So how we can, only the student name. So from this particular file, we are actually trying to get this particular result, only the student name, this particular result. So how we can do that? Which command by using we can easily do that, right? So the simple command is doing that, that is dollar cut. This cut command will be used here, that will be helping us to get the name of that particular file, or to get the only whatever the thing we want to. Now cut, the thing is minus F2. We will explain that what is this F2, minus F2 sname. So this F2, so field 1, field 2. So in this particular database table, how many fields are there? This is my field 1, this is my field 2. So the thing is, we need to have a information, we need to have a clear view that which field contains which particular entity, which field contains which particular name. So if we don't have the information, if we don't have the knowledge of that, then it is very tough to get the information. So this F2 means it is the field 2, and this field 2 is the sname field. So cut F2 from this sname. So it's a similar type of database concept. Sname is our file, means the table name. This sname is our table name. This sname is our table name. So cut minus F2 sname. So sname is our table name, F2 is the field 2. So from this sname table, we are trying to cut the field 2. So only by cutting the field 2, we will have an output. And what will be the output? That is A, B, C, D, E. So by using this simple cut minus F2 dollar sname, dollar cut minus F2 sname, we are going to get this particular output. We are going to get this particular output. Now you people tell me that if I want to, okay, first of all, this is the, okay, let me write. This is my sname table, right? This is my sname table. This is my smart table. Now you people tell me, if I want to get the mark, only the mark value from this S mark table, what will be the command we are going to use here? Only the S mark table. So what will be the value? What will be the things we are going to use? What will be the commands we are going to? Anyone can tell me.
Cut F2 S mark.
So you are saying this dollar cut minus F2 S mark, right? So this will be giving us output. So can you people tell me whether this will give me output?
No.
No. Why?
very स्मॉलर में है वो कैपिटल में है ना.
Okay. Means that when you are writing a particular name of a table, that is the concept of database, we need to write each and every letter as it is in the table name. So if it is not matching with the table name in every scenario, in the case sentences, in the spelling, if any of it is does not match with the table, then we are unable to fetch the data. So it is very important, whatever the table name is, we need to write the same table name as it is, right? So for that, this S mark, if I write the S as capital, then it will not providing us any output. So right, so this is the simple command, cut minus F2 dot S mark, by which we are going to get the value of this, only the mark statement. So this type of commands, this type of utility commands we can use. So the one thing that we can say, we can visualize that by using a simple Linux concept, we can actually write any type of program, that we can perform through C, through Java. Similarly, we can actually create a database. We can actually we can actually use that SQL commands that we are performing through some SQL, the database command. We can actually do this in our Linux programming statement also. So we can use this type of commands, this type of utility commands, to get a value, to get an output from the different type of field, from a different type of tables actually, right? So this is the similar scenario. Now putting all the things, putting all the value of all the fields using a simple utility command. Suppose there are two fields, two tables actually. Now we want to display all the value in a single output. So we want to display all the value in a single output. Means the value of two table, the value of these two table, means the SNAME table, value of these two table, that is roll number, SNAME, and value of this S mark table, that is roll number and mark, will be displayed in a single scenario. How we can do that? By using a simple command, that is $paste. This $paste will be used here, and then the table name, that is SNAME, and that is S mark, right? So this $paste, SNAME, and S mark will provide us output. Will it provide an output of this two table? Will it provide an output of this two table?
No, sir. Here K is in higher case.
Okay. So the K, that will be small. So okay, paste SNAME, S mark. This will be used. This particular command will be used to get the output. Now, what will be the output? The output will be first 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Then as it is, whatever the table have values, all the values will be displayed alongside of the two tables, right? Then again it will be displayed as 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and lastly it will be displayed 67, 55, 96, 36, 67. So by using this simple value of this paste, by using this simple paste utility command, $paste SNAME S mark, we are merging, actually we are going to get the output of these two tables in a single way, in a single output. So this is the single output that will be displayed to our screen. So this type of utility commands also helping us to get output, to choose a value from a database tables also. So there are several. So there are also join utility that is present in our database. We are going to see that particular command, but as there is no time left for today's class, the time is very short. First, I would like all of you to write your names in the chat box for your attendance purpose, right? So all of you kindly write your names in the chat box for your attendance because the time is short, only less than 1 minute left. So it will be disconnect at any time. So we will continue this discussion in our next class also, means in tomorrow's class, the discussion will be continued. And one more information that the syllabuses for the internal for Linux and data combination was already circulated to you people. That same syllabus will be followed. Nothing, no more things will be added. The same scenario that will be in our internal, right? So as the time is end for today's class, we are going to continue the topic from here in our next classes. Okay. So thank you all for joining into the session. Take care and stay safe.